Major legal victory for 8 Connecticut families and one first responder who sued InfoWars founder and noted conspiracy spreader Alex Jones. For years, Jones spread the despicable conspiracy story that the 2012 massacre at Sandy Hook Elementary School, where 6 adults and 20 children were killed, was staged. Here are the faces of the victims, young children, teachers, and the school's principal. They were very real. They were murdered. We remember them. Today, a judge ruled that Jones is liable by default in the defamation case because he repeatedly refused to hand over records to the plaintiffs. Now, a jury will decide how much he's going to have to pay the families in damages. In September, Jones was defaulted in Texas for failing to turn over documents in a similar case. Joining us now, attorney Chris Maddie, who represents the plaintiffs in the Connecticut lawsuit. Chris, I appreciate you being with us. Can you explain what liability by default means?
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Anderson. Today, what the Connecticut Superior Court determined was that because Alex Jones had engaged in a long series of misconduct and discovery abuses, he had essentially prevented the plaintiffs from getting a fair hearing, from getting the evidence that they were entitled to. And because of that, he forfeited his right to present evidence in the case in his behalf. And as a result of that, the allegations against him are considered proven. He is liable to the plaintiffs for the claims they have made against him, which include defamation, violations of Connecticut's Unfair Trade Practices Act, intentional infliction of emotional distress. And now the question for the jury will be the extent to which the families that we're honored to represent were harmed by his conduct.
How can you actually collect from him? I mean, does he have assets?
Well, you know, this case is not really about money. It's about accountability. And so our goal, and when we get in front of that jury, is to show them just how devastating his conduct has become. Now, we have avenues to investigate his assets and his resources, but what's most important is that we get our day in court and that we expose Alex Jones for what he is.
Jones and his attorneys, I mean, they've had years to turn over documents which were ordered by the court. Do you have any sense of why they just chose not to at all? Was it to drag this out longer in some way? Did he just assume he was going to lose?
Well, I think the court made the point today that the evidence that he deliberately withheld was precisely the evidence that would show that he engages in outrageous, inflammatory, and dishonest rhetoric in order to drive traffic to his website so that he can profit financially. He withheld data concerning the reach of his defamatory publications about the families. He withheld data about his company's finances. Precisely the type of evidence that would expose his business model and why he does the things that he does. So we think he made a calculated determination just simply to defy the court's orders. And for as long as he could, he made false representations to the court and to us about the existence of the evidence. And when the court prevented him from succeeding in those efforts, he simply declined to turn it over because I think he made the calculated judgment that he would prefer default to having the truth about his business exposed in court.
I certainly understand that for the families, it's not about money. It's about stopping this person from saying this and showing the world what a fraud he is and what he's been saying. But to stop him for permanent, one, certainly stopping him and getting his finances would obviously be helpful in that regard. I mean, is there law? I mean, someone can't be forced to pay. I mean, what does the law allow you to do?
Well, the first step is to get in front of the jury and to get a judgment. And we expect that a Connecticut jury is going to find Mr. Jones's conduct and find the harm that he's caused to these families to be extensive. And we expect that that verdict will reflect that. Now, we will then go about collecting that verdict. And we have legal resources available to us to do that. You know, it's not uncommon for defendants who are exposed in this way to do things to hide their assets. I'm not saying that that's what Mr. Jones is doing, but we have remedies for that as well.
Chris Maddie, I really appreciate your time tonight, and it's such a big night for so many families who have been going through a nightmare over this. Appreciate it. Thank you.